All right, today we're going to be talking about the Turkish get-up. This is a classic, iconic kettlebell movement. I love this movement for multiple reasons. It teaches a lot of pushing and pulling at the same time, which is rare for exercises. So while I'm doing a pull on the left side of my body, I'm actually pushing with the right side of my body, right? And so it's this interesting sort of push-pull dynamic that's great for the core. It's great for just training your concentration and your focus. That's another thing that I love about the Turkish get-up is the way that I teach it, you never necessarily get faster with it. It is a slow, methodical movement where you're checking in at certain checkpoints, you're making sure you're safe for the next move, and then you're going for it. So let me show you what the move is. There are 5 pieces to it. You start by cradling the kettlebell, cuddling with the kettlebell with 2 hands. You pull it up and over. And if you want, you can bring it up with 2 hands, or you can just press it up with 1. So get the kettlebell feeling situated and comfortable in the hand. Your elbows locked out, and I want your lat engaged, so you're corkscrewing your shoulder in. And then from here, the same leg is up in a bent position, the other leg is out straight, and your free hand is just 45 degrees off of your body. So the 5 movements of the kettlebell get-up are, first, you drive up to your elbow. So I'm pushing through that bent leg heel, I'm punching the kettlebell straight up and driving my elbow into the floor. Step 1, drive to the elbow. Step 2, extend to straighten the arm. So now I'm pushing through my hand and I'm straightening my arm. Step 3, I'm going to sweep that straight leg back to where my hand is. So I lift my hips just a little bit and I sweep that leg back until it's about in line. There's like a straight line now from my hand to my knee. The next move is we're going to swivel into a squared up stance. So I'm going from this structural bent over position now into a squared up bottom of a lunge, essentially. And then I'm going to stand tall, bring my feet together, here. And then we reverse it. So I step back into a lunge, I swivel that knee 90 degrees, slide my hand down the thigh, and put my hand on the ground. From here, I sweep and sit down. I put my elbow down on the ground, and then keeping my shoulder away from my ear, I lower back down, flat. And then from here, you can grab the 2 hands, bring the kettlebell down, and put it down. When it comes time to switch sides, the way I like to do it is just do a quick switch that way. You can definitely also grab and move the kettlebell, but never switch hands with the kettlebell over your body, right? You just finished a challenging movement. If there's any chance that you're going to drop a weight onto your face or your chest, it's during that time. So always bring the kettlebell back to a point of safety and then either flip your body or move the kettlebell, just drag it to the next position without having to bring it over your body. So again, here, without the weight, the 5 motions are elbow, extend to the hand, sweep the knee back to the hand, swivel to the bottom of the lunge, stand tall, feet together. You're going to go back into that lunge, swivel the leg 90 degrees, and I like to just slide my hand down the leg and put it on the ground. That's how I know it's going to go to the same place every time. I sweep back through to my butt, have a seat, go down to my elbow, and then keep the shoulder away from the ear, lie down flat. Grab it with both hands, pull it down, set it down, and switch. So I mentioned a minute ago that the kettlebell get up. You can get confident enough that you can move pretty rhythmically through it, but it's never a movement that I'm speeding up. It's always going to take 30 seconds, maybe even a minute, to get from the bottom to the top and back down. And I actually think that's a major value of the kettlebell. It requires, or of the get-up rather, it requires a lot of focus, and it requires memorizing and remembering steps. And it's really challenging your body under a sustained period of time with a variety of movements. I think that's why this is something that's worth practicing, and there's not a point in really speeding it up and trying to get as many as you can. It should always take a short amount of time. The way that I like to explain this is if you think about mountain climbers, they usually go in pitches. So their rope is, let's say, 100 feet long. So that means they go for a dangerous, precarious push. They try to cover 100 feet of distance, and then they reach a stopping point. They stop, they regroup, they gather up their rope, they look at what the next step is, and if it seems safe, they go for the next pitch. A kettlebell get-up is the exact same way. The reason why we have those 5 steps, and the reason why it always takes a certain amount of time, is because it's crucial that you're pausing at each stage of that get-up. And you're assessing a couple things. First, you're saying, is my body in the right position to make the next move? Are there any little adjustments you need to make when you're in this place of stability? And then if the answer is yes, then you ask yourself, do I feel like I'm ready for the next move? Is it safe? Is it wise for me to attempt that next push to get to the top of the movement? If the answer is yes, you go for it. So I'm going to demonstrate that in real time here. I always start with 2 hands, cuddle the kettlebell, bring it into position, strong lat. The first move here, my first pitch, is I'm getting up to my elbow. So as I drive to my elbow, change position here. As I drive to my elbow now, I pause. I made the first precarious motion. There's a weight hovering above my head. I get to take a second and go, is it smart for me to make the next move? Yeah. And then, am I in the right position to make the next move? Does anything need to change to feel more comfortable? I think I'm good. This is a simple one. So I step up. Now I assess again. Shoulders away from my ears. Structurally, I feel pretty sound and stable. What's my next move? I need to sweep. Okay, I'm going to sweep that knee back to my hand. Everything feels safe. I'm going to sweep. Good. I made the pitch. Now I'm going to pause. What's the next move? Swivel. Does everything feel good? Maybe I need to move my hand a little bit. Maybe it was back here, and now I need to move it a little bit here. I tighten my abs. I get ready for the dangerous move. I swivel. Check in. Do I need to change my foot position at all? No. I feel strong. I'm at the bottom of the lunge. I come up. Same thing again now. I'm feeling good. This one's simple. I'm back down. I reassess. You see there, when I went back down in lunge, I changed my position. The next move is I have to swivel that foot, and I have to slide my hand down. Good. What's next? Sweep. Do I feel ready? Do I have enough room? Yes. Sweep. Then I go down to the elbow. How about this last part? I'm getting tired here. I want to make sure my elbows, my shoulders away from my ear. I push my elbow into the floor. I lower myself down. And I come in. You're always thinking about it in that way. And I think that is what makes this a cool move. And especially, some people don't like going heavy with Turkish get-ups. I've done 70 pounds with a kettlebell, and I think I've done over 100 pounds with a barbell like years ago. I don't really train it that much anymore. But the whole point in taking those pauses, assessing the architecture and the security of your position, and then making the push for that next move, that becomes like crucial the heavier the kettlebells get. If you're doing this with a light thing, it's not going to feel like that at all. But when it gets heavy, you really have to make sure every muscle is in the right spot, everything is supportive and working, because there's 70 pounds dangling above your head, okay? The last couple points here that come to mind now, one is breathing, and the other one's what your eyes are doing. So, switch again. When it comes to breathing, I tend to tighten my abs and forcefully exhale through the motion. So here, my arm's 45 degrees off. So I get ready for the next move. I inhale, tighten the abs. Inhale. After each inhale, I'm kind of bracing my abs. I'm tightening my abs to support my spine and get ready for that next push. Kind of the heavier it gets, you might be actually holding your breath through the motion with that stability that the tension is and the air is giving to your spine. And then as soon as you make the move and you stabilize, that's when you let a little exhale happen. So you'll feel it out, you'll understand what I'm talking about when you start doing it. But you're either going to exhale into the motion or you're going to hold your breath to stabilize through the motion. And then you exhale at the end. The last piece is what your eyes are doing. And basically, you are always looking at the kettlebell until the last step. So this helps from a balance standpoint and from a safety standpoint. This thing is what can hurt you, so you're always going to be looking at it. So elbow, hand, sweep. Basically right here, when I go to that swivel, that's when I can get away from looking at the bell. So I'm looking at it. When I swivel, now I'm anchoring my vision forward. And from here, tighten the abs and stand. Same thing when I reverse it. This is pretty solid. I know where the kettlebell is. The move isn't so crazy that I need to keep an eye on it. But from here down to the floor, I want to keep an eye on it. So I'm going to look at the bell now, swivel, sweep, elbow, and back to the floor. Grab with two hands and set it down. I guess the last thing that I just noticed on this, when you get down to that bottom position here, you might notice that my leg kind of comes up in the air. I'm not necessarily doing that on purpose. That's just how kind of tense that my abs are, right? So the act of having that tension through my body as I'm lowering it down, it's just connecting my abs to my hip flexors, basically, my psoas. So from here, that's going to come up, and then you can relax. With lighter weights, that doesn't necessarily happen. You can just lower down. But whether that happens or not, that's okay. People tend to do it differently. I think that's everything I wanted to say about the get up, at least for teaching it in the fundamentals. So you have elbow, hand, sweep, swivel, stand. Those are your 5 movements of the kettlebell swing. All right. Have fun with it.